Hi, friends. How's everyone doing today? I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Let's get to today's topic. So, why isolation does more harm than good? And for my friends out there that like to do their hermit mode and all that stuff, that's fine. Don't worry about it. It's okay. But we have to understand that not liking to interact with other people and just being by yourself all the time is not a very good thing for your self development at all. It's the way human beings are social creatures. This is our nature. I remember I made a video about this way back when I started uploading things, and I don't remember what the title of that video was, but I talked about this experiments that were made with children and how awful it was, how inhumane it was. But despite the negative aspect of it, it proved that people need interaction to survive in this world. It's a tool that we need to learn how to utilize for our own benefit instead of locking ourselves up somewhere. And I understand that the world today may not be very enjoyable to a lot of people, especially empaths and people like that. We all know how it works, but there is also this aspect of life that we have to we have to understand that without interacting with other people, there won't be challenges to be faced. There won't be lessons to be learned. There won't be any growth whatsoever. And that will hamper, our potential in every single way in all aspects of our lives. So, yeah, the idea of, not wanting to be around anybody all the time, it's not a very positive prospect in the end because there will be many, many downsides to that. And if that's what you want to do, that's fine. You're going to go ahead and do that. I'm not going to stop you from doing it. But just keep in mind that if your main goal in life is to develop yourself, not only spiritually but in all aspects of life, you have to be able to interact with other people because there will be many positives that will come out of that. And I know that it's not pretty, for the most part. Um, all you have to do is go out there to any public place and, you know, even say hi to people. Most of the time, people won't even acknowledge that you said hi to them. I know it's bad. I know. But it still doesn't stop you from doing that if that makes you feel good about yourself. So this is how you know, I see it from my own perspective. If they don't want to say hi to you, they don't want to acknowledge you. It's their right. That's fine. Don't take it personal. We don't know what those people are going through, what's on their mind, why, what made them be that way. But every once in a while, there's gonna be someone who's gonna be nice back and is gonna acknowledge you. You said hi, how are you, or whatever it is, and you might even end up making a good friend out of like a random instance of meeting someone out of the blue just like that. And that's what makes life great. And I don't think that being by yourself all the time. And look, we've all done hermit mode, I know what it's like. I've done that for a long time in my life. And yes, there are good things that will come out of doing things like this, the introspection, meditation, all of these things, yeah, there will be some extra sensorial, you know, psychic abilities that you may develop along the way. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that I guarantee you that if you would put someone who's been, you know, in all kinds of like social environments most of their lives, while at the same time focusing on their own self development, the good aspect of it, right? To someone who lived in a monastery their whole lives, the person who's been within the social interactions, the person who hasn't been isolated their whole lives, is gonna be the one who's gonna be more developed. And feel free to disagree. That's okay. You can disagree all you want, but I am telling you, there is no growth, real growth, like visible, tangible, palpable growth, if a person decides to isolate themselves from everything and anything for their whole lives. Because that defeats the whole purpose of being here and having a life, living this journey. Pretty sure I've said that before as well. So this is how things work. We don't learn valuable things that will make us be a better person overall across the board in every single way if we go the isolation route. And like I said, yeah, you might develop some good things from being isolated, but isolation is a form of escapism. It's the same as, people who seek things to keep themselves busy so they don't have to deal with, the things that life throws at us throughout the span of our lifetime. Because we need to have interaction. We need to meet people. We need to face all these things. Otherwise, there is no development, there is no growth. And the soul craves that. The soul knows that. And that is why when a person decides to go the isolation route, that may work for a little while. It may be a very good thing for, self healing, self-understanding in that sense, working through trauma and things like that. You know, we all need our time alone. That's nothing, that there's nothing wrong with that. But just know and understand that being alone 24/7 is not going to do you any good either. And it'll do more harm than good. It's that simple, right? Interacting is important, you know, and that experiment that was done with the children has proven it conclusively. It was a terrible thing that it was done, obviously, because lots of children died from it. But the people who did that, the monsters who did that, I wouldn't call them people. Um, they were doing it to prove a point that you can't, you know, a baby, when a baby is a baby, it needs human interaction and it needs love, because without that, the child gives up on living, and they end up dying. And if they don't die, they will be completely broken psychologically speaking. The experiments that were done with the newborns, the children never survived after a certain amount of time. And then the ones that were done with like teenagers, some survived, but the cost of that was terrible. But I'm not really gonna get into details about that. If you want to know more about that, just do some research online or go back to some of my first videos. I think it's within the first maybe dozen of videos that I posted, but I don't remember the title of the video, so you're gonna have to watch them all and figure it out which one it is, because I don't remember now. But yeah, human interaction is a necessity for not only our sanity in a sense, but our sense of I'm not gonna say belonging, because you shouldn't need that to feel like you belong somewhere. A sense of purpose, that would be the right way to put it, right? We need to have other people around us. We need to be able to talk to other people, have relationships of whatever kind they are, because it matters and it makes a huge difference when it comes down to the growth aspect of our lives and the lessons and the things that we gain from doing all of these things, as opposed to, you know, picking the solitude route forever and deciding to just be by themselves. That's not healthy at all, psychologically speaking. And really, that's all that I wanted to talk about when it comes down to this whole thing about isolation and how there are many bad things that will come from it. And yeah, that's it, guys. If you're new here, welcome. You know, if you like the content, feel free to like, share, subscribe. It helps the channel. And yeah, I love you all. Never stop loving yourselves. And I will catch you all on the next one. Take care, everyone.